You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
JAMPRO aims to increase the export of non-traditional products and of course support the development of Jamaican MSMEs. To that end, they've partnered with the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association and the Jamaica Business Development Corporation to launch the third installment of Export Max. I'm Theodore Henry for Business Access TV. Stay with us.
It is good to be here, and it's a pleasure joining you for the launch of the third iteration of this program. This morning's event is a fitting tribute to the industry players and signals a great promise for the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises and the importance that has been placed on export diversification. This launch seeks to build on the success of Exports Max 1 and 2, which together recorded over $2.2 billion in sales. Indeed, its previous success sets the stage for the implementation of this third iteration, which we are now undertaking on a much larger scale. Let me take this opportunity to commend the JAMPRO on conceptualizing and taking us this far with this program. And let's welcome our new Export Max partners, the Jamaica Business Development Corporation and the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association. With their strengths, we'll be joining forces to improve and efficiently manage and implement the program. And I'd like to thank our sponsors and future participants. You have signed up for a game-changing program that will have national impact. Jamaica has strong export potential and growing export capacity. The imperative for achieving greater export performance and thus realizing export-led growth and global competitiveness in our exports as part of the export strategy is therefore of extreme importance as we strive for national prosperity and wealth creation. In the globalized economy, it is critical that Jamaica becomes highly organized in order to be fully integrated into the world economy in a manner that allows us to elevate our position on the global value chain and supply chains. Jamaica has been standing still for too long. Standing still while our trading partners have been taking steps to implement best practices for business and trade-friendly environments. This ministry, therefore, through its agencies, is seeking to attain greater diversification in the export industry by achieving higher value addition in priority tech sectors, increasing the value of non-traditional export of goods through increased volume and higher value addition, increasing the contribution of services exports as a percentage of our overall exports, including our creative industries, and increasing penetration in existing markets and accessing new and emerging markets. Let me add to that the specifics, some specifics which I want you to implant in your minds. There are three distinct underdeveloped markets. Let me just mention what those three are. The tourism industry. Too much of the fresh and processed foods that they consume are coming in on the planes with the tourists, and we have the capacity to supply them. Second, CARICOM. 16 countries in CARICOM. All of them are net importers of food, fresh and processed. Yet, we export precious little to CARICOM, and we have the privilege of exporting it duty-free. And what's the third significant market? The Jamaican diaspora. In Canada, the United States, and England, the market is as big as Jamaica. Somebody from London told me recently that because they cannot get what they want in Jamaica, they import the stuff from Africa and slap a Jamaican label on it. Castor oil, by the way. A lot of castor oil that is now being sold internationally with the Jamaica label on it. The raw material is not from Jamaica. Unacceptable. So as government, we are committed to promoting brand Jamaica to the world, identifying new trade and investment opportunities in order to spur economic growth. My ministry will continue to work with critical stakeholders to enable them to capitalize on opportunities in the export market, as more than ever, greater focus must be placed on growing our economy through exports. One of the things that the ministry is committed to doing is changing the soft infrastructure that will support the growth of trading across borders. To this end, a few weeks ago, we launched a trade facilitation portal that will house the information about all the various processes that underpin trading across our borders. It is our vision that the trade information portal will be the central source of information that will ensure that if someone is an exporter, or even if they are dreaming about being an exporter, they need only to visit this one place that will provide them with all the knowledge they need to navigate the trading process. On the heels of this, we are also excited about the progress that we are making in implementing a single trade electronic window for the government, which will see all the various government processes integrated into a single online system that will allow for all trade-related transactions to be done online, supported by a robust risk management system to protect the country's borders and its reputation overseas. And so ExportMax is only one more prong in the government's network of activities that will allow for the framework for each and every exporter to experience success, and ultimately for us to achieve economic growth and prosperity in Jamaica.
It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test. It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test.
Free eye testing is back and it's here to stay. Island Eyewear offers free eye testing every day, all day at all locations island-wide. Conditions apply. Make your appointment today at www.islandeyewear.com or call us 630-1180. Island Eyewear, your style, your price.
It's Island Hour, free eye test.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
So, welcome. So let me start out by asking Dan, ExportMax, I know ExportMax started within Jampro. Why ExportMax 3 and what makes it different this time around?
Okay, thanks Claude, and good morning ladies and gentlemen. We are so excited to be here at the launch of ExportMax 3. Why are we doing ExportMax 3? It's actually one of the programs that I'm proudest of in my time at Jampro. I think that, as the minister said, export is one of our critical pieces, is critical in our lifeblood. It's in our DNA. We have to export. We're a small island nation. We have tremendous products. We need to take them to the world in a more organized, systematic way where we respect standards, we understand the adaptability of our products to market demands, where we understand the markets that we are trying to penetrate. ExportMax is that program. The results that we got out of ExportMax 1 and 2 show what a deliberate program can do, where you start by diagnosing what does the product need to be adapted to market demand. what evolution needs to go on in the company itself. So it's not just the product, but it's also the management that must have the right mindset to penetrate international markets. So we're identifying that demand, identifying the market trends, helping the companies to adapt their products, and that mentorship, which we brought on in Export Max 2, is a critical component, because the ones who are successful must help the ones who have not started yet or who have not yet been successful. So that was the innovation of Export Max 2. And what we decided in Export Max 3 is that to more than double the number of companies in the program, we really couldn't do it alone anymore, because Export Max is a really labor-intensive and brain-intensive project. It needs a lot of time spent hand-holding companies, explaining export to them, helping their management to be ready. So we really needed the help of our partners, and we're really, really proud and excited and energized that we have two such fantastic partners, as well as the other sponsors who have come on board, because we need more expertise, we need more hands on deck. Export is not easy. Standards in the international market are constantly becoming more critical, more difficult. So we needed partners on board who could help us to interpret some of the issues on the international market, some of the standards. You see, Bureau of Standards is on board, and also to help galvanize those exporters to greater effort and to greater understanding. And then we needed the business development side that JBDC can bring to really help companies to develop their business plans, develop their loan applications, to become more formalized, develop their bookkeeping acumen. We think this is one of the most important programs that JAMPRO and the country have ever created, because we think that this is an integrated way of taking our MSMEs the next step forward. We are very excited, and we just want to have more participation from the MSME community, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and it's when you start on that journey of trying to understand how do I get from point A to point B that you start to realize what it is you don't know and how and where you can find help. So really this is a plea to and a stimulus and an encouragement and almost a demand of the SME sector listening to us today. You need to get on board, because this program can change your life professionally and change your export horizons.
Okay. Valerie, you decided without hesitation, came on board. Why did you see training and capacity building as such important components for exporters?
Our logo speaks for what we do, which is business development in the fulsomeness of it, and how can we help you. So we know for sure that capacity building is even beyond that thing called training. It's really getting into the nitty-gritty of the companies, the enterprises, looking at the concept, if it makes sense, whether local or external market, putting the proper structures in place, and as Dan says, formalizing the business. It means governance have to be in place. You have to know your numbers to know what stories are coming out. Worst, if you're thinking of exporting, you have to be really secure in moving forward. So we have been spending a lot of time with our client group preparing them for the market, because for us, global market is right here in Jamaica. So standards must be in place. Governance must be in place. And you must be thinking business. And I agree with Dan, we have to get over that hump of doing a little thing until some big job comes along, because it's not going to come along. So it means that we have to be innovative and we have to be on target for moving forward. We're going to be looking, as we said, as we had agreed, at all the innovative industries that have the possibilities for export. So food, niche markets, high quality, value-added products, non-food, services, certainly the technology-based industries and the creative industries in all aspects have to be part of that big umbrella. Our mandate is to help them. So even if they come
Right.
and they're not ready for Export Max,
Right.
it doesn't mean that they can't be in the passageway.
Okay.
So they need not hesitate. They
Right.
need to come forward.
Right.
If they're not in that lane,
Right.
it means you go and prepare them for
Okay.
whatever is appropriate. So
Right.
there is no reason to sit and wonder if.
Okay.
You need to come forward and let us work together and see which lane you are really in.
Right.
And if you happen to move into this fast track, no, that's wonderful. If not, you're on the way to preparation.
So
Because we must export. Dan keeps saying export or that. I think we have been in coma because we're waiting to die.
When we look at the program or we look at life, we always like to say nobody born big. We all are a product of training, exposure, and experience. And you almost need all three in the right combination to be successful. So in the area of mentorship and advocacy, I think JMEA coming on board, which will have a portfolio of businesses that are already exporting, play a very important role. So I'd love to hear from you, Metri. Tell us in plain terms, how do you see the JMA supporting this effort and your decision to come on board?
Well, when I heard Diane and Valerie speak, I realized that what we have here is a perfect marriage.
Okay.
2 women and 1 man. No, I'm joking. No, seriously, what we have is a perfect marriage here.
Right.
Because what we have is the JMEA that has the base of membership. Our membership base is about 400 companies, most of which and many of which are small to medium-sized companies, which is the base that we need. Then we have Valerie, who is going to do the business development process, and then Jumper that's going to deal with the export market.
Right.
What we bring to the table is a lot of hand-holding. We are about solving problems and solving issues.
Right.
So they're going to have issues. There's no question about it.
Right.
I think one of the ways we could say it is that we're a big brother to the companies, and we hold their hands and we walk with them through the process.
Right.
We just go, Valerie will take them to a particular stage, and then we will take them from there until we're ready to hand them off to Jampro to really go and do the export. But I wanted to say that the JMEA is fully committed to this program. That's why we have joined. We recognize how important it is. And as Diane said, it is probably one of the most important initiatives that any agency in Jamaica has put in place. The numbers speak for themselves, and we hope to be a part of this process going forward for a long time to come.
How does one apply for the program? Could you give some thoughts on that?
Thank you. I was hoping you'd ask that question. We have a kiosk at the back. We have several Jampro members of our team here. We have an expression of interest form, which you can get from our team at the back. Copies of the form are also available from the various agencies and on our website. www.dobusinessjamaica.com. You can download this expression of interest form and send it in, and we will be happy to contact you and start the journey with you, because this is a journey. It's a 3-year program. This is really about helping you through a process and on a journey to success. Tell your associates, people you know who have a product or who even have an idea. They can start talking to JBDC from the idea stage. So let's create a movement that can change export.
Thank you, Dan. So I'll throw it out. Any final thoughts?
This is an example, the collaboration, the example how we in Jamaica should work together.
Right.
Because no one institution or person has all the skills, all the information.
Correct.
And until we start putting the ego behind the door and working together, we're not going to move. So I'm celebrating from JBDC the kind of collaboration that we have agreed to have between our agencies. I think it's a good move, and we know success is down the lane.
Metri, any final
In closing, I would ask everybody in this room, when you leave here today, call 5 persons that you know that are in business. Let us be oversubscribed.
Yes.
Let us have that problem. Let us reach back out to our sponsors and tell them that we need more from them because this is good for Jamaica.
Thank you, Metri.
We have some Export Max graduates in the audience, and I think it's important not only to hear from us, but to hear from people who are actually on the program. So dare I say that Rita Hilton is on his
Yeah, they're going to be on the program. Yeah, they're
okay. So Rita, Omar, I think you're all going to talk later on. So.
All right, a round of applause for the head of agencies. Thank you very much.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
I'm going to invite some past Export Max participants to speak. Rita Hilton from Carita, Jamaica, and Omar Azan, CEO Boss Furniture. So in the spirit of ladies first, I'm going to ask Rita Hilton to come and just give a couple of remarks about her experience with Export Max.
I think this is a great opportunity. Having benefited from Export Max 2, I'd like to highlight some of the things that made it so important for me and what the results have been like. It was important for me because it allowed me to step into the Caribbean export market. Carita has been in business for 34 years, and our whole business is aligned with exports. We were primarily involved in fresh produce exports, but recently we've been adding value to Jamaican products and trying to build up that component of bringing more value to Jamaica. Now, with Export Max 2, what did I benefit from? Going into the Caribbean market, which I didn't know at all, and I have to tell you that out of that, we have one concrete market which we opened in the Bahamas. And that partner has been so impressed with our output that they have come with a proposal to invest in our company and buy equity into our company. I learned that I wasn't really completely prepared to take advantage of all the opportunities. So if you're going into Export Max 3, come with an open mind. You think you know it, you don't know it. Learn, absorb, and execute. You need to have a partner on the ground in the territory that you're going to be working with that will teach you about that market and the market needs. It's not Jamaica, and it is not the globe. It is a very special type of market, and each market has its own needs. So keep an open mind, learn from the opportunities. What was wonderful is the amount of work that Jampro put in before we went into the markets. And that was the critical success of the Export Max 2. Into every territory that we went, there were buyers available, and it wasn't the underlings that came to the market opportunities. They were high level personnel that came to talk business and to do business. The other thing that I learned so much from is the capacity building. You think you know how to run a business? Well, you don't, because the way you start is not the way you grow and keep on growing. You see all this white hair? That comes from years and years of learning. I started as a high school teacher, and our exports have reached close to $3 million US. And those are sales. That is not money to spend. That's money that you invest back in your business after you've paid the expenses. So don't think that you've achieved success and can drive a Mercedes-Benz. I still drive a pickup, okay?
I'll just say that for me, for my company, it's been an amazing experience. The team has been behind. There are times when I wasn't even up to doing some of the things, and they came and sat in my office and said, Omar, listen, we need you to get this thing done. And they would push me to do it. Today, I'll say historical. This is our first time in history that our company has receivables. Today, I checked it this morning, from 14 different countries owing me money at the end of this month to pay me, to pay my suppliers, where I think at the end of this month, I can probably pay all the suppliers I owe from just a foreign exchange earning. So that is a huge, huge, huge difference than where I was a few years ago. This is an excellent thing that JAMPRO is doing. I'll say it. You know me, I talk the truth every time I come up on the podium to speak. And, you know, we need to just get everybody behind this. Our Jamaican people, our staff in our factories, we need to push our exports to get this country going. Thank you.
I am inspired and excited this morning. And I want, on behalf of the entire team, JAMPRO, JMEA, JBDC, I just want to say thank you all for coming out and hearing this program and participating in this launch. So we're going to take you into the Caribbean, Europe, and the USA to sell your goods and services and to return with those all-important contracts and to deliver on the promise that you would have made to be a champion exporter. I expect this program will be a positive, life-changing experience for you and your businesses. So where do we go from here? The steps are very easy. We are inviting all business owners here to complete the registration expression of interest form. Following the expression of interest, you'll be required to complete a more in-depth application form. The deadline for submission will be January 30, 2019. Final selection of participants will be done by March 15, 2019. And by April, MOUs with all the participants will be signed, and that's when the real work begins. But it will be exciting, it will be fun.
This has been the launch of Export Max 3, and I've been your host, Theodore Henry. Keep watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Do you want to build your company's capacity or export your products or services to new global markets? Then you can be a part of Export Max 3, an enterprise development program for Jamaican companies. Sign up today. Applications close January 31, 2019. Expand your business for export growth. Visit dobusinessjamaica.com for details. Export Max 3, grow beyond borders. It's brought to you by JAMPRO, JMEA, and JBDC.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Our women are the backbone of our society. They deserve to be protected and respected. Domestic violence is not okay. Speak up and speak out. No more violence against women.
Hi there, thanks for joining us on another Jamaica Magazine program. I'm Theodore Henry, your companion for the next half hour. Though we officially observed World Teachers' Day on Saturday, we're still celebrating the men and women who've dedicated their lives to education. Before we get there, however, let's look at public safety on this week's edition of Get the Facts. You don't want to miss a minute of it, so stay tuned.
Did you know that you can apply for a copy of your birth certificate online or by visiting any of the Registrar General's department offices listed on their website? For ease of processing, there are several things you need to know about the person or child whose birth certificate you are applying for. Here's a checklist. Ensure you know the correct name and spelling of the person, as well as their mother and father. You will need their date and place of birth, which is usually the name of the hospital or location they were born. Parish of birth is also important. Find out also the birth entry number along with the date and place of registration for the adult or child. Remember, for additional information on how you can apply for a copy of your birth certificate or someone else's, contact the Registrar General's Department today.
This week on Get the Facts, Assistant Commissioner of Police Dr. Kevin Blake joins us to discuss public safety and traffic enforcement on our nation's roads.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Anthros Campbell. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, has increased its capacity to improve the safety of citizens as well as restore and maintain public order with the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB. What kind of impact is this entity having? What are the plans going forward? To provide us with that information is Head of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB, ACP Kevin Blake. Dr. Blake, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
So good to have you. What would you say are the benefits of having this special entity?
Okay, well, good. PSTEB, the purpose of PSTEB and its role, its mandate, is as the name suggests, public safety and traffic enforcement. So important is the issue of public safety and traffic enforcement that the organization found it necessary to establish a formation headed by an Assistant Commissioner of Police to treat with that. So we have concentrated effort and dedication looking at this very important aspect and things. So it allows us to be more deliberate, and this is what we do every day to ensure that our public spaces are kept safe and also our roadways are properly used and are safe. And so I think that is a significant benefit for any state. Right? One of the most visible sign of the state's ability to govern is the roadway and your public spaces. And so that is how awesome the responsibility is. And that's how we see our responsibility as an entity.
Okay, talk to us about the role of the officers in this branch.
Right, again, as the name suggests, public safety, traffic enforcement. And so our role is to ensure that our public spaces are kept free from harm, and also that our road compliance is maintained on our roadways, and that we have safe roadways and stuff like that. In achieving that, we have to work very closely with other agencies, and we have a significant role where that is concerned. However, it is not public safety and traffic enforcement itself, and compliance on our roadway is not solely a policing function, even though our major we have a chunk of the responsibility where that is concerned.
What are some of the agencies that you would work with to what end?
And so when we look at the policing is a means to an end when it comes to particular compliance on the roadway. So you're trying to change our behavior, and so that is the end. And so when we issue citation tickets, there are other things that needs to be done. Persons now have to either pay the fine or they go and face the court. And so that's another agency. And so we expect that the courts now hold up their end in ensuring that the process runs smoothly all the way through. Now we talk about engineering of our infrastructure. And so we look at places like NWA, that I'm happy to say that we work very closely together and we're getting very good cooperation and excellent response from NWA and stuff. But engineering, safety and compliance in our infrastructure is very critical to maintaining road safety and stuff. And there are several other agencies that we've worked with. We are talking about the Island Traffic Authority, Transport Authority that issues road license to public transportation. We have to work very closely with them to ensure that persons who are vested such awesome responsibility are persons that have of the type of character and that level of responsibility so that they can take our children to and from school. And so, it's a whole team approach in treating with this.
ACP, we've been witnessing an upsurge or increase in unruly behavior on the streets.
Right.
If you listen to the radio, if you read the newspapers, that's what you've been hearing. How do you plan to deal with that?
All right. Again, it's a multi-agency approach that we have to take. And the first thing we start doing is to seek collaboration between all the agencies that are responsible. I think we have left the situation for far too long and haven't given it the type of attention that it requires. And so persons who want to do wrong basically are left too much freedom to get that done. And so persons are able to rack up 1,000 tickets, yet insure their vehicle, renew their road license, renew their driver's license, and stuff like that. And so the deterrent effect is not there. And I am really hopeful for the new Road Traffic Act, and I really hope that some of the venom in the sting that is required to ensure compliance and ensure deterrence from certain behavior exists within it. Enforcement, of course, we have to ramp up our enforcement, but I just want to put it on record that we have been enforcing. When you have an organization that issue in almost approximately 500,000 tickets per year, that is enforcement. When you find a single driver that is issued 1,000 tickets, it is 1,000 times that the police have enforced that.
But how does that help? They're still there behaving.
Exactly,
unruly.
that's the point I'm making.
Yes.
And so I'm saying that from our side, this is the extent and the scope of what we can do. What we expect now is other agencies of the state to cause that person to learn a lesson and stuff. And so the person should not be able to, right?
But sir, on some roads, if you talk about motor vehicles now, on some roads, you know that people are always going to be behaving badly. Why isn't the police on those roads? For example, some of the roads I use every day, you see people making 3-4 lanes. Where's the police? I know the police can't be everywhere, but I mean, at least you would get some feedback that these roads really people are unruly. Why aren't you present?
I'm happy you asked that question because, in response to your question, I won't be seen as a complainer because I'm responding to your question. But the calls I get every day, I wish I could satisfy all those requirements. When you're briefing your men, one of the first thing I do when I brief my men and women before they go out in the mornings at 4 a.m. is to tell them thanks for being there, because it's an awesome responsibility. And the demand is there. And I'm not complaining about the demand, because demand is made of you when there's value for your service. So when the public demand things of us, we like that, we appreciate that. However, we can't satisfy everywhere that, and no society, I think, can. What happens and why other societies survive is that there is a respect for the rule of law and that social contract. And so for the few who choose to deviate, then police can deal with them. Here, when you have so many things happening all over the place, we need more than just police chasing behind people. We need more than that.
What do you need? What else?
We have proven to everyone, the citizens of this country, that we are up to the task. We are willing, and we will prosecute persons. We will issue them tickets and citations. And once that is the scope of what we do. We just expect that once that is done, persons are not to be allowed to rack up 1,000. It's a ridicule of our system. And so what we ask is that just for us to be mindful that we are satisfying a means to an end. Change in behavior is the ends, and that will be achieved when there are serious consequences to that behavior.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's take the break here and continue with more on traffic management by the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB. Stay with us.
Motorists, when driving on the road, here are some simple reminders. Look out for and extend courtesy to all road users. Give plenty of room to pedestrians, especially in wet weather. Drive slowly. No bother wet them up. Slow down when approaching a pedestrian crossing or school, and always be prepared to stop. Remember, a school zone is a 30-kilometer zone. Cut your speed. Drivers of large and slow-moving vehicles should always keep in the far left hand of a dual carriageway. Keep it simple. Drive left and pass right. These are just simple reminders of your road duties. Drive safely.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We continue our discussion with Head of the Public Safety and the Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB, ACP Kevin Blake. Now, we were talking about unruly behavior and so on. Tell us about some of the violations that persons, not just motorists, but people who are moving around in public spaces. What are some of the violations that they can be ticketed for? Okay, all right. So for in public spaces and for public safety, there are a number of violations under the Town and Country Act, a whole list of them that I haven't committed to memory. Yes. However, things like illegal vending, obstruction of traffic, blocking pathway for persons to pedestrian to walk, littering and stuff like that. So these are some of the things that we can ticket. Right. But we don't ticket people for littering at all, basically. Well, it's actually someone. Give them someone. You see, sometimes when you have so many things happening and such breakdown, you know, it's very easy to not see or not being able to prosecute all that you see, because there's so many other serious things happening around. But so we really need an education campaign, right? Exactly, we need the education. We need first of all citizens to understand and be aware of their surrounding, and not only of their rights but their responsibility. And we need majority of our citizens to act responsibly in the public spaces, and so that will give us the opportunity to treat with those few who wouldn't. PSTEB was rolled out first in Kingston, St. Catherine, and some other resort towns, with an intention to move towards the entire island at some time. Where are we with that? All right, we're going well. I mean, one of the things that we have done is the PSTEB's establishment coincided with probably one of the most difficult time in our era in traffic management, and it was last year September at the commencement of the several major roadwork in Kingston, and that's the time when it was launched. And so our primary effort at the time, because we have to be responsive as an organization, we have to treat with what is the problem at hand at that time, and we have to reshape ourselves in order to address that challenge. And so we were predominantly dealing mainly with traffic enforcement and stuff like that. However, the public safety component of PSTEB, we have been rolling it out, but it requires some more work. And so now that things are somewhat leveling off, the roads are being completed and stuff like that, we're now looking at further implementing that aspect of our public safety. In terms of our traffic management, however, and also public safety, the organization, the former traffic headquarters, highway and patrol headquarters, that there were offices within each divisional HQ. So we have 19 geographic divisions. So every division we have a traffic component. PSTEB now will subsume those offices, and that model will be replicated in all divisions and stuff. So that's what Okay,
So that's
great.
really now.
Earlier we were talking about the number of tickets that some people manage to
Right.
to get, and they're still on the roads behaving unruly. I hear though that something is coming
Right.
to help with that situation.
Certainly.
Tell me about it.
All right. And so our traffic ticketing system, a more effective, a better working traffic ticketing system would have helped us, and it would have prevented persons to be able to rack up so many tickets. One of the challenge with that is that unpaid tickets, that once a ticket is issued to it, a citation, once you don't pay at the tax office if you have the opportunity to, then it becomes automatically becomes a summon for you to go to court. And if you don't go to court, usually a warrant is issued. No, that process is a bit time consuming in issuing the warrants, because it has to be manually written up and stuff like that by the judge and checked. And so what is being rolled out now under the Ministry of National Security is an automated warrant management system to better able to manage these the issuing of these warrants. And so we'll find a lot more of these warrants being issued, and so we can now start, having people account for this.
So how does it work? I get a ticket and you plug that in into a web-based system,
right?
And then
yes, it is. There always exists a system, to an electronic system to capture the ticket information.
Yes.
An aspect of it, that information goes to the Inland Revenue Department, so
Yes.
that they know whether or not
Yes.
you've paid. Once the date has passed and you haven't paid, then that ticket that you have in your hand becomes a summon. So you have to go to court on the court date that is there.
Okay.
Now, all of that electronic information will be available at the court. And so now, rather than just looking at paper and physically writing up a warrant, the judge can cause a warrant to be issued. So the process will be much, much faster. And so whilst the judge is required to see the warrant, to actually do all of that, the information on the warrant, like the name of the person and stuff, that is already in a system.
It's going to still go back to the judge?
Yeah, well, the judge has to issue a warrant. I don't think that can be...
How is that going to make it easier?
It makes it easier because rather than having to write the warrant itself, put in everybody's name and the address and all of that, and then sign, now the judge can have something where that is already filled out, because that electronic data is already sitting there. And so to actually physically write that over. And so that is where the system we're going with that.
Okay, and we understand that should be in place.
Well, the commitment we got, as the minister had announced, is one of his presentation, is that by the end of October, I think.
Yes,
I think that's what he said.
Okay, we're looking forward to that,
We're
right?
looking very much forward to that.
Yes. Let's talk about reasons why your motor vehicle could be seized.
Okay, all right. So there are 7 reasons why you can motor vehicle can be seized. 7 offenses under which one is having no road license, operating contrary to road license, operating an unlicensed motor vehicle, obscure license disc, as is on your windshield, obscure registration plates, registration plate not affixed or kept affixed. And so if you see a registration plate falling off and you do nothing about it and keep driving like that, or registration, you see sometimes people put registration plate on the back dashboard and stuff.
That's a no-no.
Yeah, those right. And also an unregistered motor vehicle. So those are the 7 reasons under which you can seize.
Those are the 7 reasons.
Yes,
right.
7 offenses.
Right. What offenses? Right. Now, what should someone do if they think that their vehicle was seized without just cause?
Allow it to be seized and then seek redress.
Okay.
Do not try and stop the police.
Okay.
Right. It is, and that goes out not just for seizing a vehicle, but for arrest. I see there's a tendency for Jamaicans, a lot of our citizens, I don't want to generalize and offend people, it's just a number of our citizens sometimes intervene when a police is conducting an arrest because they believe it is a wrongful arrest. Well, it is not for the resident to decide, and it's a very dangerous practice. It's dangerous for the police officer. It's also dangerous for the citizen. And so we will implore our citizens, there's a way in which if you're being arrested as an assistant commissioner of police, if a constable chooses to arrest me, he will not get a resistance from me. But he has to very well make sure that it is a lawful arrest. Because I know there are ways and procedure in which to deal with it. So we implore on citizens, do not interfere with the police when conducting arrests. There's an agency in the state that's responsible for that, not citizens. You don't try a case right there on the street.
Okay. ACP, you have a very difficult job.
Yes.
What would you say to motorists now watching this program? What are some of the things that we can do as citizens, motorists, pedestrians, using public spaces? What can we do to help you?
All right. So for the road users that always comply, continue to exercise a level of intolerance, not aggressive intolerance, but intolerance to the extent where you will photograph what you see, video or tape what you see, send it to the police, and be prepared to go and give evidence to that. So we'll say that. And for the motorists that believe that driving on the road, you must always commit offense, we ask that you just be responsible. Remember the danger of that machine that you operate, and the danger not only to yourself but to other motorists and pedestrians. And so we ask that, you know, and when only adults are issued license in Jamaica. And so, you know, we are to be able to take command and control of ourselves first and foremost. And so we ask and implore. You know, I was talking to a bus operator this morning and remind them that it's a noble profession. But we have made our operators sometimes have made the profession, so put it in so much disrepute and discredit the profession itself. I want to help them bring it back to its noble state. And in doing so, some people obviously may be hurt, because some people may lose their license, some people.
Yeah.
But we're going to bring it back to a state where people will see it and see a bus and a taxi operator in Jamaica and say, there goes a professional.
Yes. Very good and sober note to end on, ACP.
Okay.
Thank you so very much for
Thank
sharing
you.
with us today on Get the Facts.
Thank you very much for having me.
This has been Get the Facts with our guest, ACP Kevin Blake, head of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB. Until next time, I'm Anthros Campbell. Take care.
Businesses operating within parishes under the state of emergency, your closing time has been extended. In St. Catherine and Clarendon, clubs, fast food restaurants, petrol stations, and establishments operating under a tavern license, your opening hours are 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. For supermarkets, grocery shops, haberdasheries, and other businesses, opening hours are 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. In Westmoreland, Hanover, and St. James, business closing time is between 10 p.m. and midnight.
Teachers play an important role in the lives of our nation's children. They teach, they nurture, and most importantly, they affirm. After all, a little encouragement goes a long way.
How many is that? 20. All right, so of my population, we have strongly agree. So let's count up all the persons who agree over here. Count 10 plus 2, 12 persons agree. Everybody understands what was taught a while ago about interconnection?
It is important that our teachers ensure that we understand the work so that when we go home, we can be able to study it on our own so we can get better grades or good grades on our tests so that we can get something good. It makes me feel very happy to know that there is a teacher who might help me if I do not understand.
insurance means so much to our children. It's motivation for them to perform at their very best, even right here in the classroom. And my little friends, Miracle, Alyssa, Rihanna, and Latanya will agree as I ask them this very important question. Why do you want your teacher to make sure that you are learning?
Because in our future, we'll have to get some good careers and it will mess us up. For instance, if you are going to be a chef, you got to learn what ingredients to use and what to not use.
As Miracle said, it will interfere with our future if we don't get a good education or not. So it is very important for our teachers to teach us so that it doesn't interfere with our careers and our future.
Affirm me that I can learn.
What do you want from your teacher?
Like her attitude supposed to be good. So if I say I don't understand and she's doing it over and over again and she's been making up her face, I like her to work on her attitude. Well, I would like her to work on the way she explains it because it would be nice if they would go a little slower and go through it with us so that we can get to understand it properly. Affirm me so that I can learn.
Thomas, you heard the students. They say they want teachers to explain more to them. They want them to don't speak too soft or too harsh to them to make sure that they are learning. What do you say to that?
First and foremost, I do believe, like the children, that teachers have to be patient. And even though somebody may be a very good student in one subject area, they may not be a very good student in another subject area. And secondly, explanation is part of the curriculum.
What are some of the things that you do? What are some of the methods that you use as a teacher to make sure that your students are learning?
Some students understand quicker, some don't, so we can pair them up with those who don't understand, because sometimes peer learning is better than even us explaining. But I find that they understand better and they understand longer, so they remember longer when they work on it themselves, and it is the same for us as adults. So the confidence that they have help them to develop and want to learn more, even if the topic is something that they didn't like in the first place.
It is good to know that you have somebody that you can go to that is willing to help you to understand what is being taught. Affirm me so that I can learn. I feel good when my teacher gives me good comments on my work.
Keep it up. Good job. And those are some compliments that will motivate children as they go on in life.
I will continue to affirm my students that their learning benefits them.
Affirm me that I can learn.
Jamaica will host the second Tourism Resilience Summit of the Americas on October 9 and 10. The two-day summit seeks to explore tourism climatic resilience initiatives from around the world. This game-changing summit is being held under the theme, Building Tourism Resilience for Sustainable Futures. Global and regional speakers will share best practices on how to recover from man-made and natural tourism disruptions. That's the second Tourism Resilience Summit of the Americas on October 9 and 10 at the University of the West Indies Regional Headquarters in Kingston, Jamaica. The event is open to the public.
Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Send your feedback on today's show to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Also, follow us on our social media pages, download our app on your Apple and Android devices, and visit our website at jis.gov.jm for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
I'm Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, and you're watching Business Access.
Oh, Robert. Hey, Robert. How are you? Thanks for coming.
Not everyone can afford to live in a gated community, but the home is still considered a sanctuary where you should feel safe. On this episode of Home Sweet Home, we provide a young couple with security consultancy for their new home to keep their family safe. Stay tuned.
Well, Robert, thanks for coming by. No problem. Nice meeting you. Heard you were the person to talk to where security is concerned.
Unfortunately, yes, that's correct.
Alright, so we just kind of moved in and settled down. And we can see the place. So, can you give us a lowdown on what you have to offer?
Well, essentially what I'm going to do is just take a look at everything. I'll tell you what's right. I'll tell you if there's anything I see wrong. Tell you what I think the fixes are. We're going to try and keep it economic. What I essentially do is look at houses, apartments, and determine what their security tweaks need to be and what their vulnerabilities are. And it won't be any different here. And it has to tie into what your daily routine is, so I don't turn your house into a prison.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is somewhere that you feel safe to be.
What's about you and your company?
Oh, well, I'm still learning. I haven't done it for too long, only 42 years. So I'm learning as I go along. Based on the size of your property and what needs to be done, I come in and I look at it and I tell you, does a door open properly? Do you have the correct door? Do you have the correct lock? Are your grills adequate? What I could do to defeat the grills if I wanted to, and how you can fix that. And essentially point out to you what you need to do that when you come into your house, it becomes your castle.
Are there any projects that you've worked on that would give us kind of scope of?
I'm currently the Senior Director in charge of Safety and Security at the University of Technology. And the campus is known as the benchmark for the provision of security to tertiary institutions in CARICOM. Jamaica 50 celebrations, I was responsible for the security coordination of that. And I am the security chairman for the Jamaica Football Federation and a member of the CONCACAF Security Committee. So, like I said, I'm learning.
So Robert, let's do a little tour of the place and you can just point out what you think we need to do in terms of improving security around the place.
Before we even take a step, your grill. When you're doing grills, you need to ensure that the density of the steel is sufficient to withstand any attempt to defeat it. And you can look at how the grill work is done in terms of where the joinings are. Some people will do what is not adequate joinery, but conceal it with putty and paint. The good news is you have good grill and you have 2 plate guarded locking areas, which means that the grill can't be turned in on itself and you can't immediately reach for it. The locks that you have, that's a very good lock. That's an excellent lock. For 2 reasons. You can't bust it that easily and you can't lock yourself out because the only way you can lock that is with a key. So you can't just shoot a padlock and then suddenly remember that your key is in your bedroom or in your kitchen.
So is it that we need 2 for it or
yes,
one
you
is
do.
sufficient?
You need 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom. And your lock sold, that 1 key will do both. So you don't run into the situation of trying to remember which one of the keys fit which lock.
That sounds good.
And if for any reason you lose one of the keys, change lock. Don't cut a new key.
Just switch locks entirely.
Yes. And if you have a helper who you part company with under acrimonious circumstances, change all your locks.
It's a good
But the helper would have had access.
It's a good idea to just kind of buy spare locks and put aside.
You could. You could. When I came in and you came to open the gate, you had to come out and physically open the gate for me. Arrivals and departures is where most people are vulnerable. So whilst it's an expense, you can look as part of your security plan down the road to put in an automatic gate opener so that you don't have to. And then you put a small intercom system so you don't actually have to come out and be viewed before you vet who is trying to enter your
So
premises.
you can view first before.
Yes.
Does it use a lot of power though?
No, not that much. And they're not as expensive as most people think they are. They're certainly cheaper than a coffee. You want to take a look?
Sure.
Oh, before you go any further, let me show you this. You have two types of lock here. This obviously doesn't work with a key. It's just when you keep the door shut and you want to open it. This is good. It's a deadbolt lock. It also means that when you are leaving, it uses a key. Again, you can't lock yourself out of the house. Thing is that on the inside, you need to put some form of light drill work so that I am not able to just break this and reach in and defeat the lock.
Would they be able to force through though?
It would be a little difficult once you are anchored, which is why I tell people that all these locks are lovely,
Yes.
but nothing beats a tower bolt.
Okay.
So a tower bolt on the doors that lock away from where I can easily reach, that locks into the frame, is a good thing to have.
All right.
Okay?
Sounds okay.
After you.
Hey baby, you like it?
Oh, you have a little one.
Yes.
What's here? Ah, powder room. Uh-oh. No grill. Someone will come in through there because it's hidden and be inside here, and you can't lock this door because even when you lock it, you can't get from the outside. The person from the inside can get in.
Okay.
The first thing you need to do is grill that.
All right, so any special grills?
Once it can be properly affixed without being able to be dislodged easily and allows you access to the locking mechanism of the window, it's good.
All right, sounds good.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.
I noticed you say you've just moved in, so you haven't got all your furniture in yet.
No, we haven't. We're trying to figure out where we should put them and where.
Well, the placement is usually leave it up to the woman. Learn fast. Well, what you have to bear in mind is that the child has to play an important part in what furniture you choose. That the furniture is not something that is easily collapsible and can trap or injure your child. So whatever you buy, whilst you like your aesthetics, the safety of the child has to be brought into bear also. Okay? And this is your window. Usually in older houses, you discover it's nice and ornamental, but like where this does not have support coming across like this at intermittent, I put a scissors jack in here, wind it up, and I'll open it wide enough to get in. The immediate fix is to move the grills to the inside, and you can assess the type of grill and how strong it is, whether you want to use what is on the outside and just bring it inside, or you want to change the entire situation. Okay? And I take it for granted that the rest of the windows have the same problem.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, all on the outside.
And through here is your laundromat?
Yes.
Good guess. You have the grill on the inside, which means that your door opens on the outside and it's metal clad, yes?
Yes.
So that's a good point.
That's a good point. Only problem I have is that it's a single point of contact with the, which means I can use this as a fulcrum and pull this in. So I personally would prefer if you had 2 points for padlocks so that the grill cannot be manhandled. What I would also do is put in a folding grill here so that it fold against that wall, still give you the space you require. But if someone manages to come in through here, that grill can be utilized as the design for what you put in the powder room. Okay? But if they manage to get in there and you have a grill situation here, they're temporarily locked in that area, which would give you some form of protection. If you go electronic, this is a good place for a motion sensor. So if someone comes in here, you will get a trigger.
So the only thing they could take is dirty laundry.
Yes.
Like for instance, this lighting now, does it have to do with security as well?
If you hear something outside at night, don't turn on the lights. You become like a fishbowl. You're inside, people outside can see you, you can't see out. So it's better, you know your house. So in the darkness, you're at an advantage. People outside can't see you, but you can see outside easily.
So outside lights would be a better option?
Outside lights are a much better option. Placed where someone can't reach up and move the bulb. Yeah? Bedroom. One excellent thing. The bed is over here against the wall, facing the window. Sometimes based on space, people find their bed head against a window, which means someone can reach in from the window and do you harm or get you to move. This way, you're against that wall, away from the window, and that if you wake up, you can immediately see what's happening. Yes?
What about the curtains? I was thinking of
Some people have nice flimsy curtains,
Yes.
and they're aesthetically pleasing, but I can stay from outside and see through them. At night, what I would do is you can go between aesthetically pleasing, and then at night you have where you draw the drapes so that one cannot stay outside and see inside. Okay, your walk-in cupboard.
Yep.
This window needs to have a curtain or a drape or shutters so that someone can't stay outside and look in. Also, they can't find themselves defeating. Again, the grill has to be made on the inside.
It's right over from our neighbors. You think they could help us in any instance, anything we can do?
Depends on where you live with your neighbors, and everyone should. But God helps those who help themselves, so take care of yourself first. Just make sure that even if your neighbors decide not to be neighborly, you are in a protection mode.
Now that we see all that's inside and all the issues inside, would we like to go outside?
Oh, I'd love to. After you. Following your wife. This is lovely, except for one thing. I can defeat it at the corner. So the whole of this is nice, but if I really want to come around it, I come around it on the corner. Yeah? This will allow access to the roof. You might also have another thing that is not just a matter of security, but other matters too. Whereas if you have rats, you'll gain access to your roof by running up the tree, running onto the roof, and then all of a sudden you start to hear noises in your roof and you realize that you have rats.
Motion sensors.
Yeah.
So we'd have to move
What you can, or for the time being, get sheet metal and wrap the tree. Rats can do a lot of things, but they can't climb sheet metal.
Okay. And people?
People have the same kind of problem, although our people will defeat most things. Your gardener is best utilized clearing this. So you'll still have the hedges, but they do not interrupt your view. Same problem with the grills. They need to be on the inside. You see the camera system is here. The best thing is that cameras are mounted that they watch each other. So that camera, for instance, will see if I try to mess with this camera. Yeah? And there are systems that allow you to use your smartphone, turn on your cameras at home, and view what's happening. It's an external area, but this lock has to be changed. This lock needs a deadbolt lock. I'll show you why it has a problem. Use a knife like this. And you have used it as a storeroom, obviously. And because you felt that this was okay, you didn't put a padlock on that.
That we need to fix that.
So
definitely.
I'm in.
Like how we have a lot of locks and a lot of keys. What do you suggest we do?
There are locks that are sold, I think up to about 4 to a pack. That one key can open all of them. And you label your keys properly so that you don't have to be searching for them. What I can do that I've done for other clients is I can do a written report for you and indicate your options, that you can do this now, this has to be done now, or this can wait for a little bit, and the various phases that you can do.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life surrounds art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
We are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Thanks again, Mr. Smith, for coming into our home and just kind of giving us the rundown on what we need to do. I guess, is there anything we probably overlooked?
I wouldn't say overlooked. There are options that you can avail yourself of. For instance, you can go solar where your security lights are concerned. It would create something of a consistency if your power goes from JPS. And you'd still have the security lights on the outside. It would definitely reduce your electricity bill. And you could go on a program to solarize totally from that point of view. Your movements should never be, thank you so much, should never be done in a way that's predictable. And it's difficult, especially with the little one going to school. You leave at a particular time to make sure she gets to school on time. People can watch your movements. If you're going to hire a helper, ensure that you know where the helper is coming from and you properly vet their background, address persons they've worked for before, the whole 9 yards.
To prevent robbery.
To prevent robbery, because sometimes you're busily looking on the outside for someone to break in when it could be someone on the inside breaking out.
So like with burglars now, I guess, is there anything we do that probably attracting them that we probably shouldn't do?
I don't know much about your lifestyle, so it's difficult to say that right now. But if you, as we indicated earlier, if you don't live good with your neighbors just sit down and watch somebody moving stuff out of your house, and when you come home, them tell you, so them think it's moving. But if it's even a pleasant good morning, people tend to look out for you if you act in a manner that makes them feel that you see them as a human being and you care that they exist. If you're going to be away for a while, inform your neighbors that you're not going to be there for a while, ask them to give an eye out for you. And don't make people make deliveries. Like if you have newspapers that are dropped off, they will pile up if you're not. So you stop those deliveries.
Like the solar thing, is there any other technologies, lighting, grills?
LED lights cut down on power usage, and they tend to look bright, but in certain utilizations, they may not give as much illumination as a security person might find adequate. But it all depends on what you choose. In security, if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys.
So is it a recommendation to have brighter lights outside and dimmer lights for the inside?
Yes. You want someone to feel that they are in an area that they are illuminated. You don't want to feel that they can hide somewhere and you create shadowed areas that they can sit and wait.
And like when we're away, should we leave lights on? Or should we?
Or you can put lights on the, not timers, the sensors, light sensors, so that when it gets dark, they come on. So someone knows, but they're not too certain. If you're not going away for too long, leave on a television set. People, when the television set scene changes, people looking from outside get the impression that someone on the inside is moving. And between that and a radio, they're not too certain whether there's a discussion going on. So you look around and you say, I wonder if they're here, I wonder if they're not. It's difficult once there's some form of noise and movement going on. Let me just quickly run back through what we've gone through so that we have it down pat. The grills that are on the outside of the windows need to be duplicated on the inside or removed to the inside. The padlocks that you have need to be of a sturdy kind, and you have padlocks that can utilize a number of padlocks, but one key will open all of them. That will save you having to stand there and fumble with your keys. Your fence line is adequate, but you need to not just say, I have an adequate fence line and relax. It doesn't work like that. And the shrubbery that grows along it should be neatly trimmed. That doesn't allow people to conceal themselves in it.
Or spiky.
Or be spiky. Yes. You need beams that run down the side of your home that allow people not to be able to get to your windows without setting off some form of alarm. And I would suggest that you put an audible on the roof so that it not only trips it, but it tells the entire neighborhood that someone has tripped it. Your locks, your normal door locks, need to be deadbolt locked, and where possible, they need to open outwards. It's difficult for someone to kick a door in that opens outwards, and all exterior doors should be, where possible, metal clad. You need to ensure that you look at the possibility of a remote control for your gate, because your arrivals and departures is when you're most vulnerable. So if someone doesn't have to be there opening the gate, you do so electronically. Some people like the little bulb on top of the post that tells the world that the gate is about to open. But it means that if I'm hanging around waiting on you and the light starts flashing, you're coming.
All right. But pets.
That again is a personal preference. Dogs are really good. They're worth their weight in gold. If they won't attack the intruder, they'll at least alert you to the fact that one is there. And it'll be good that based on the type of space you have, if you have two, so that you can confine one to that side of the house and one to this side of the house. They become territorial.
All right. Just like separate them?
You could, yes, because it means that if I want to mess around with you, I can go to one side of the house and lure the two dogs while my accomplice does what they have to do on the other side. Or like how you have the child, what you might want to do is get a nice little Shih Tzu. I don't like small dogs. Small dogs make a lot of noise. And they're very nice with children. And especially a Shih Tzu or a poodle will yap their life away. And a small dog, funnily enough, will run and bite you faster than a big dog will. And if the small dog is in the house, they not only are going to, see, I'm trying to get you a pen. They not only will become a companion for your child, but protector. And the people from outside can't get to the child or the dog, and the dog will alert you that there's somebody on the outside. And the technology has gotten to the point now where it is not that expensive once you've set up your camera system properly to sit on the net with your smartphone and turn on your camera some extra and see what's happening.
Thank you again, Mr. Smith.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point. Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Business Business Access TV was on location at the Def Can Coffee Sip and Sign E3 Cafe launch as part of their Social Enterprise Boost initiative. Stay tuned for the highlights.
It's wonderful to be a part of SEBI, an organization or initiative that is assisting different organizations in terms of building their own community. For here in particular, I really love the fact that we are a part of an initiative that is empowering the deaf to actually grow their community, to be successful in their community.
So why are you here today, and what does E3 Cafe mean? It means engage, equip, empower. That's our focus at Def Can Coffee. We want deaf youth to not feel negative about themselves, but we want to engage them in the process, get them included where we can show them that you can. And then through that, they'll get equipped with the skills. So as they see me as a talented, skilled barista, I'll teach them what to do, they'll get the skill, and then that will lead to them being empowered, and then they can show to themselves and the rest of the world that they can. So here at the E3 Cafe, what we'd like you guys to think about is renting the space for your next meeting that you need to have. We can set the space up with tables, you can have a private meeting here. We have many amenities. We have great coffee, really comfortable environment. We have a nice television where you can do presentations from. We have Wi-Fi here from Digicel, private bathroom, and you know that you're gonna help build Jamaica. So today you're going to taste several different Jamaican coffees and also a couple of non-Jamaican coffees, so you can see how coffee tastes different based on where it's grown. So we're going to go in a circle later and you're going to get to taste each one of them. So first thing we're going to do is smell it before we put the water on it. So get in a circle and just follow me. So now we're going to put water on it. So now we're going to show you the technique for breaking the crust and smelling the release of the aroma when you move the coffee grounds on the top surface. I'm going to take this here and brush it across the top. It's going to release the aroma. So sometimes you might smell things like fruity elements in some coffees and others you may not. So now we're going to take the coffee grounds off the top layer and then we're going to taste the coffee. So the next process is tasting. You're going to really slurp the coffee and you're going to try to spray it into the back part of your mouth where you're going to be able to smell and taste better than in the front part of your mouth. So it makes a loud sound, but you're going to have to slurp it hard.
SEBI was designed to assist social enterprises to become more efficient businesses. Jane Foundation is a charitable organization really designed to help to meet the needs in Jamaican communities, and what we found was that most of the NGOs or not-for-profits depend heavily on donor funding, and the initiatives were not very sustainable. After a while, once the project funding ends, then the outcome, is reduced. And so we decided to introduce the social enterprise business model, which introduces a more sustainable way of delivering services in Jamaican communities, where the enterprises would earn their revenue so that they can support their social mission. That is really what SEBI is about, strengthening social enterprises, which are businesses that support a social or environmental mission.
So last year you had a competition, DEFCON 1. Talk to us about if you will be having any projects this year.
Last year we had our Pitch for Purpose competition, which targeted social enterprises. And, you know, we had a number of social enterprises competing for $1 million. As a matter of fact, we partnered with the Giselle Foundation in that competition. And DEFCON, Carlisle and Fabian went up and they did their presentation in sign language, and they impressed the audience, they impressed the judges, and they were selected as having really the best model at the time. They delivered really well. And this year really is a testament to the potential that DEFCON has in terms of their growth in employment, growth in revenue, growth in the kinds of partnerships that they have been forging with the private sector. And, you know, we did the competition last year. This year we're focusing on really helping a group of enterprises, 14 enterprises to be exact, in our Business Accelerator program. These enterprises have the potential to boost their revenue. And all our enterprises, it's not just about revenue, it's about the purpose of that revenue. For DEFCON, it is about engaging, equipping, and empowering persons from the deaf community. And that is what this event is really about, the Sip and Sign event that we're doing tonight.
Dodge & Global Marketing Strategy Consulting. Marketing isn't a department, it's a system. Having an integrated and cohesive marketing plan allows each marketing technique to support the others, thereby creating a synergy of branding and growth for your business. Dodge & Global can assist you in making smart decisions with lasting value in regard to the following key decisions. Determine if there is a paying market for your products and services. Craft long-term and short-term marketing goals. Define marketing campaigns. Create marketing strategies. Select powerful marketing techniques to reach your audience. Choose a brand and image that reflects your core message. Design marketing materials. Design internet marketing strategies. Track marketing results to determine the strongest techniques. Because it's so important to create an integrated marketing strategy that will bring in business. Get advice and mentoring from people who are already successful marketing experts. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
I'm Jean Laurichin, and I'm the Executive Director of Procom, ProDev, and CCRP. BATV had heard about our outreach arm, which is a Caribbean community of retired persons. I think BATV is having a very positive impact. And as a result of that excellent feature, we got more members. So clearly people are watching BATV. I always say to my clients, you should have a 360-degree campaign. Do not limit yourself to one media house. And especially those who are in business, I think it's very important to include BATV in their portfolio.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
This is used for latte and cappuccino to make it thick, foamy. The cappuccino is a little bit more thick than the latte in terms of the quality and foam. Why do we keep it in the fridge? Because when we're ready to order, when the customer is ready to order, we will know the temperature, and then it will keep it, the air and everything, the taste on perfect. Once it's cool, eventually this will turn hot. So now I'm going to show you using water. The most important thing about this is to keep the pitcher cold at all times.
It was very good. The coffee was so good, the pastry excellent, and then to know that persons are deaf and can do all these things, it is a good experience.
And would you recommend persons to come here?
Sure, because you need to support persons who are not able like you, and this is a good venture.
Today was awesome. I am leaving here empowered. I've learned so much today. We went through this fabulous session where we learned to say some words and communicate in sign language. And then we had these 2 sessions where we learned how to make latte, and then we learned about cupping and smelling and roasting and different types of scents and flavors. And it really struck me that here was an establishment where I could go and learn something, and it's not necessarily that you couldn't just walk into any establishment in Jamaica and somebody would teach you what it is that they do. I've never had that experience, so it really struck me that how empowering it was for me.
There is no one word to really express what the experience was like today. First of all, the E3 Cafe, which really stands for Engage, Equip and Empower, and that is what they did. And it is powered by DEFCAN. And there's so many things that we took away from it, but off the top of my head, it's number one that we must have respect for the deaf community. Seeing them or hearing that they're deaf does not mean that they are disabled by any means. They do not want pity. They do not want handouts. And they tell you that with a sense of pride. What they want is for you to respect the fact that they're hardworking Jamaicans bringing this service, this barista service to Jamaica. And it is something that we have to really get up and look at our communities and to see how we can support them better. So that's the first aspect of the goal. So they also taught us different communication, how they communicate, and they taught us some special words. So, learning to say thank you and coffee and great, and I just think they're so cool. We learned things like that, and that also made us feel inclusive, and I really like that. But to take it to the next level, what they did was they showed us how to prepare espresso and cappuccino, and you really get a sense of pride when they work. Each of them knew exactly what his or her role was and how they could really move around their space efficiently. Something that I will not forget, even when we went and we did the cupping and the smelling of all the different coffee and the coffee beans, is the fact that something that we look at them as being a weakness is a strength for them. So their heightened sense of smell and touch allows them to be better baristas than the normal-bodied, well-able persons can be.
What has your experience been? What's your impression overall of the Sip and Sign?
Excellent, really good. The E3 Cafe is another revenue generation area for DEFCAN, where they have a really nice cafe that offers great service, great coffee, great pastry, and they want to open it up to the public to schedule meetings, do trainings here. They have the facility here, and today it's about introducing persons to the DEFCAN experience, where they enjoy the food here and also learn the very basics of sign language. So that is really the Sip and Sign, and we have specially invited persons who we really want to influence booking of events and really tap into their own networks to boost business for DEFCAN.
And finally, building a strong and independent social enterprise sector requires many different stakeholders. Have you been receiving further partnerships?
Definitely. SEBI does not just focus on the enterprise. Yes, we do have a business accelerator now coming from 2 stages of incubator programs. And that is really about proving that the business model can work. But the business model alone would not be enough. It's not enough to ensure that the enterprises survive beyond 5 years or so on. They require an enabling business environment, an entire ecosystem. That is why we worked on getting social enterprise included in national policy. So the revised MSME and entrepreneurship policy now includes social enterprise. And as a result, you see several other organizations really including the social enterprise model as a tool for development. So on the policy side, social enterprise has been included. In terms of building out that community of support for social enterprise, the network is growing. And we saw where we staged 2 summits and had over 500 participants, which shows that people are interested. But everybody has a role to play. The enterprises really need capacity building, capacity strengthening. SEBI has done that through the Business Accelerator and Incubator programs. And everyone in their ordinary space can really create a positive impact on social enterprise. You do that by using the power in your purchase. Every time you buy from a social enterprise, you not only satisfy your own need, but you help the social enterprise to increase their impact, to deliver greater service to the communities that they serve. And what is unique about social enterprises is that they serve marginalized, often vulnerable communities. So we say to the entire Jamaica, choose to buy from social enterprises. SEBI created a unique bisocial trademark which identifies social enterprise. So when you see that Buy for Good bisocial trademark, use the power in your purchase to really support social enterprises.
I'm Chris Williams, CEO for Proven. When I think of Business Access TV, 2 words come to mind: passion and performance. In the short space of time that they've been on air, has demonstrated clearly the Jamaican passion for anything that we set our minds to. They have approached television in the most creative and dynamic way, and I'm proud to see how this young station has evolved. In terms of performance, they back up what they say they're going to do. All their programs, all their packages, all their promotions are efficiently and effectively executed.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but 4 walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
I was quite pleased. I was delighted to be a part of the event. I had no idea what it was previously. And now that I've seen it for myself, I am totally ecstatic. I'm blown away by the sheer knowledge that they've acquired to put on this event, and the fact that they're entrepreneurs doing their very best to bring a wow experience to coffee. It's incredible. I just love it. The taste of the coffee is just amazing. I learned more about coffee. I thought I knew a lot about coffee, but apparently I didn't know enough. So I'm quite delighted. And in terms of the sign languages that goes along with it, they're very knowledgeable. They're just incredible group of people, and I'm delighted to have been here, really.
I thought it was great. It was very insightful, and a lot of information was shared. I've known DEFCAN for 2 years, and I brought my students here, and even that time we didn't do any signing. So that was really interesting. It was interesting to see how complex it is and simple at the same time, and the whole event was very nice. It was interesting.
Well, I too think it was awesome. I think that I've learned so much here, not only about the deaf experience, but also coffee. And I'm associated with 2 schools off the Mountain View Avenue. And I know that in both schools, one is a basic school, one is a prep school, kinder prep school. And we teach sign language in both the schools. And being here, I feel that the Ministry of Education should really consider making sign language mandatory in our educational curriculum, so that we all can communicate with everybody. And so this has really opened my eyes, and I hope many people come to this wonderful cafe and experience this. It's easy to get to, and it's very central, and I really recommend it. I will recommend it to many, many people.
Last year, DEFCAN won the SEBI Pitch for Purpose competition, and you have now transitioned to the accelerator phase. Talk to us about that.
So everything that we've been learning through the SEBI program the last 2 years, like financial management, how to invest our money, how to cost things properly, we're applying that to our business. So we did that in the Pitch for Purpose competition. We applied what we learned, had our vision, had our purpose, what we wanted to achieve through it. And we were a little bit nervous during the competition ourselves, not really sure that we would win. We honestly didn't expect to win first place, but we did. We won the top prize of $1 million, and we used that to invest in a bus. That bus is branded, and so everywhere we drive, it's sharing our message and it's marketing our company. We had an older bus, but it was not nearly as good, and the new bus now really helps us to market ourselves, helps us to go to more events, and really has helped us develop our business, because through those events, more people found out about us, and through that we got more partnerships. So the money we earn through the monthly events that we do at different places, that helps us to grow our business. And then that spread to the more partnerships. So we're at several different cafes and coffee shops across the island now, and it really has helped our business to grow.
And how was your experience this evening at the Sip and Sign?
Oh, it really felt so good. We've never had so many people come here at one time, and we really like to advocate with the rest of Jamaica to know what we're doing.
What happens next?
Right now, we want to just continue to educate people. We want people to know that we can. We're even going to other countries. We're going to Kenya to share the message of DEFCAN.
That's it from us here. Keep it locked to Business Access TV. Serious about business.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector. To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market, and that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in two parts. In phase one, where we look at social investment, and phase two, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase one, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now in phase two, you're going to get a return on investment which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place. When we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
I am Shani Jaja, and you're watching Business Access.
Montego Bay is one of the fastest growing cities in the Caribbean, and this week on Wealth Magazine Business Access, Gloria Henry tells us how her role as the Assistant Vice President at the Montego Bay Free Zone and as President of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce has contributed to this.
Gloria Henry, Assistant Vice President with the Port Authority of Jamaica with responsibility for the Montego Bay Free Zone, and I'm also President of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Gloria Henry was born in Williamsfield, St. James, South St. James actually. The part of a family of 9 children who was really shaped in a rural setting with a very urban mindset. She's a very determined, very competitive, very focused, very driven person. And those are characteristics that have been built up over the years, mainly coming from her childhood. So my childhood was very simple, a very simple one. 9 children from my parents. I was in the middle, 5 older siblings, 3 younger siblings. Poor rural community. We didn't have much in terms of entertainment, but what we have were very strict parents whose principles were constantly being taught in the home. Principles of discipline, honesty, hard work, education. We didn't have television, but we were taught to read, and we had to actually be involved in like a school setting in the home. So my father, on a Sunday evening when most children were out playing, we had to read the Bible, and we had to, explain what we understood, what we learned from reading. We were taught to help one another, to be involved in one another's lives. So the older siblings would take care of the younger ones, and when it was my turn, I had to take care of the younger ones, of course. And my parents weren't rich, actually they were poor, but we didn't know that because there was so much love and there was so much, we were taught to be satisfied with whatever was provided and to be creative in satisfying our needs. So we weren't taught to be excessive or to desire what we didn't have, basically. So my primary education, I had that at Buckingham All-Age School, which was like 2 miles away from home. So very early, it was stressful. You had to walk 2 miles to get to school every day and back. And it was one of those settings. I went to school when I was 6 years old, so I didn't have basic school. But by the time I got to school, I could read because we were, as I said, the older ones would teach, and my father as well. So I could read, so it wasn't difficult. It was one of those rural schools where there weren't a lot of resources, but at that time, the demand, I suppose, wasn't like it is now. It was really a very simple environment where you went to school and you learned whatever the teachers taught you. It was a respectful environment. Your teachers were like the gods. They were in charge. It was a community where you were taught to respect the elders, to have good manners, and anything that they told you, that pretty much was what you accepted. It was, I would say, like most rural communities, a very difficult one. There was much exposure, except for those persons who had left and come back, so whatever they told you pretty much was what you hang on to. But very early in those years, I started having a vision. Even though I didn't leave the community until I was 11 years old, I still had a vision as to where I wanted to go. I certainly knew that I didn't want to stay there. I wanted more. And that more was kind of a vision that I created for myself. So I had a journal, and I would start to journalize my life and where I wanted to go and the things I wanted to do and how I wanted to leave the community. And that opportunity came when I did my common entrance at the time, and I was successful for high school. My high school years were not very remarkable. I went to Herbert Morrison. At the time, Comprehensive High School. It was a new school, so the school itself was still trying to find its way. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do because I didn't have guidance as to, career choices and so on. So my mind was centered around the traditional nurse, teaching. Later on, as I started doing food and beverage, I thought I wanted to be a dietitian as well. But I left high school with not knowing or even thinking about where I was going to go. I was still a little bit confused after high school whether I was going to do teaching or nursing. And in fact, I started on a journey that was supposed to take me into Teachers College. And I remember going to do the exam at the Teachers College one day, and teachers were in the square of Montego Bay, Sam Sharp Square, demonstrating for more pay. And I said to myself, no, I don't think this is what I wanted to do. So I ran into a colleague, a former classmate, a few weeks before, and she told me she was studying business. And you know, at that point I said, maybe that's what I should do. So I went to the business school and I registered, and I told my brother, and he was like, no, why would you want to do that? You're not going to, you're not going to reach far. You're probably just going to end up like as a secretary or something. But that was where I went, and that journey took me through several stages. I worked in food and beverage, I worked in environment, I worked in customer service, I worked in cost control. It was really a very dynamic period for me, those years right after business school. I think because I was focused and driven, everything I did was, to me, a stepping stone to get somewhere else. I've always seen my job as not in a box, but part of a bigger picture of, providing wealth and satisfaction for the people that I serve.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
My first real solid job was in environment. We had a project that we were implementing, and I was part of a team that implemented Jamaica's first site-specific marine protected area. And I got involved in every aspect of it, from the environmental protection to the administrative support work, which is what I was doing in the office, to the community relations aspect of it, dealing with the public, understanding the legal framework, and that helped to create a very rounded person. That was when I started looking at wealth and my own personal finances and how I could get involved, and started learning about stock trading and, building a wealth portfolio for myself. And I decided that perhaps I needed to learn more. So I went and learned accounting and economics, and they kind of opened my mindset and kind of started creating a different perspective for me, understanding personal finances. So when my brother went away on study leave to study abroad, and his salary would come to his account, I would look at how I could help to, save and manage the monies to the point where when he came back, he was able to buy asset with the monies that were saved. And it was something that I like, and I still continue to like doing that. In my career, I've had some stepping stone positions. So I was a secretary for about 6-7 years, and during that time I made sure that I was the best secretary. So I became All Island Secretary of the Year, I was Caribbean Secretary of the Year. I moved from that into credit and loan administration, and I also made sure that I delivered not just the results for the customers that I serve, but for the organization that I worked with, which at the time was Development Bank of Jamaica. I also made sure that my customer service to me has been something that I have been very passionate about. I treat a customer the way I would want to be treated, and I am a very picky customer. I'm not very easy to get satisfaction. And so I would try to understand the needs of the customers and would try to ensure that those are satisfied. So when we did project evaluation, if there were things that I felt wasn't in the best interest of the customer, I would share that with them. And if there were ways that I needed to perhaps link them with an external source, an external party, other organizations, other institutions, I would do that. So I've always seen my job as not in a box, but part of a bigger picture of, you know, providing wealth and satisfaction for the people that I serve. And in the end, I benefit from the satisfaction of their success. So I love success, and I like to see people successful as well. When I worked at DBJ, I also explored. People always say, Gloria, you can sell a 1 foot man, you can make him think he has 3 feet. So I decided, you know, when I wanted to acquire some personal assets for myself, I did part-time sales. And in that part-time sales, twice I was the sales rep of the year. And it was financial services that I was selling. So I decided to pursue the securities, the Jamaican securities course. And I did very well. I was one of the top students, and I was offered 3 job opportunities, one with a financial institution, one with an insurance company. And there was one that I applied for at the Montego Bay Free Zone. Didn't know much about the Free Zone, but of course I'm from Montego Bay, so I thought perhaps this is somewhere that would be good for my career and, you know, my journey. So that was the job that I actually took. And I joined the Free Zone at a time when it was at a turning point, a very, very serious turning point in its existence. The Free Zone was designed to support foreign direct investments, primarily in garment manufacturing. And so when I joined the Free Zone, it was on the last bit of decline of the garment industry. So most of the facilities were empty. Most of the buildings were empty. In some respects, the factory side was about 28% occupied. And it was a challenge. And I remember many days sitting in my office and asking myself the question, Lord, why did I make this choice? I had 2 other options. Why did I make this choice? There has to be a bigger purpose. And, you know, some of those faith-based and, you know, the determination and, you know, my mother's principles that she ingrained in me, you know, the faith and the trust and all of that. Of course, I had to call on that many times. It was challenging, but one of the things that kept me going was seeing the number of persons that could be employed and the value of the business that, you know, Jamaica could extract from the business process outsourcing industry. And right away we got to work. I had very good leadership at the Port Authority, as well as our board of directors. And they were very, you know, they were very cognizant of the need of the contribution that the industry could make. And we got to work on supporting and building out an infrastructure that could support the growth of the business process industry. It was also on the eve of the dismantling of the telecom monopoly. Although to some respect, we had a monopoly in the Free Zone up to 2012. But that did not inhibit us from growing and from improving the business. I tried to understand every aspect of it, from the aspect of serving the stakeholders, which would be the customers and their employees, to the legal and regulatory requirements that was necessary to grow the business, to the customer's business and their end-to-end deliveries that they have to meet for their customers, to the market conditions that are required, and the different markets in which they serve. And that helped us to not just work with the customers to grow the business, but to continue to create the enabling environment, to create the linkages with external providers, to create the kind of policies that would help them to grow and to work with different sectors to grow the industry. I think the most phenomenal achievement for the Free Zone to date has been the employee growth. So within the Free Zone, we have moved employment from over 2,800 to over 8,400 at the end of last year. And that is just within the Free Zone, because we've had many customers that have migrated, some into private sector developments, who are also growing their employment. So that to me has been the most phenomenal experience. The other phenomenal experience is the growth in foreign exchange earnings. Of course, they are, complementary. There's a correlation between employment growth, of course, and foreign exchange earnings, because it means that more businesses are coming into Jamaica. That has been phenomenal as well, moving within the free zone from a little over 13 million to $133+ million at the end of last year. I have been part of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce for 12 years, I believe. I became a director, I think, when Lloyd B. Smith was president, and I have been working with the Chamber since then, supporting the growth and, of course, development of the community of Montego Bay. I live in Montego Bay, and as you know, Montego Bay is the fastest growing economic corridor in Jamaica. And the Chamber of Commerce sits in the heart of supporting that enabling environment for growth and development of the community. So we have been involved in lobbying for a number of the supporting infrastructure, from road development to the Montego Bay Convention Center, to supporting services such as the Company's Office, Firearm Licensing Authority, various supporting agencies to continue to support the growth of Montego Bay. I've worked with various presidents prior to my becoming president 2 years ago. Since I have been president, I've been working with a very dynamic board. I must say that I have a board of very accomplished, successful business persons in Montego Bay, and we're passionate about the continued growth of Montego Bay. One of the issues that we have been focusing on is really the cleaning up of downtown Montego Bay. And so we launched the Maimo Bay campaign, which has been involved in supporting the cleanup of the physical infrastructure and instilling pride in the residents and the citizens of Montego Bay. But very importantly, we have seen the impact, well, even though anecdotally, we've seen the impact of crime on the community. And our major project now is one where we're engaged with the University of the West Indies, Western Jamaica campus, to develop a crime study, a study that is focused on the serious issue of crime and the effects on the community. It will look at how crime affects the community, but very importantly, it will measure the impact on GDP, and that has wider implications for Jamaica. And we believe that study will guide us into more focused and targeted community renewal projects, crime fighting strategies, and just dealing with that monstrous problem of crime. The Chamber is also involved in keeping the social fabric of Montego Bay together. So we have a number of social events as well, fundraising events as well, and we are also focused on bringing in investments into Jamaica. So we have worked with the members of the Chinese community, members of the Indian community, various investment partners to continue to bring investments into Montego Bay. For me, at the Chamber, one of the things that I believe that I will count as success is really getting the institutional strengthening of the Chamber itself as a body, because it needs to have a very robust, resilient, and dynamic body that can bring all of the forces together in the community and be able to access funding and, to undertake the different projects. The Chamber is a non-profit organization, and our funding comes primarily from subscription, but that is not enough to undertake the mammoth responsibility that the Chamber has. So we have, under my presidency, we have revised the Constitution. We have putting in various administrative supporting processes at the Chamber. We've managed to get funding since then. We've got funding from the Tourism Enhancement Fund to help us with the crime study and the Maimo Bay project. And we are building a platform. That is a legacy that I'm happy to leave behind. We're building a platform for Invest Montego Bay, which will connect business people in Montego Bay, investors, developers, with investors from overseas. So the biggest challenge I've had in my career is at the start not having enough funding to pursue higher learning, higher education. I've had to work and study, and that has not been easy. Full-time job, full-time study, and sometimes 2 jobs, because I have goals, and I do a 5-year projection every 5 years. Well, it's revised every year. And so I had goals as to when I would acquire assets, when I would pay off for those assets, how I would help members of my family, including my mother. My father died, very early, so I had younger siblings who were still in high school that I've had to help. And so that has been a challenge, balancing a career, balancing education, balancing a job, and not necessarily having at an early stage, the kind of academic achievements, or the academic qualifications rather, that would justify the experience and the knowledge and the talent that I knew I had. It came later on because I was able to pursue my first degree and my master's, but prior to that it was a little bit challenging getting persons to understand. Jamaicans feel that you really have to have, the academic qualification to be able to do the job. But there's a lot more to that. There's the attitude, there's the talent, there's the interest, there's the desire, there's the passion. Fortunately, I'm in an industry where that is being borne out day by day, an industry where being able to perform is not measured by your academic qualification. And I have absolutely nothing against academic qualification. Because one of the things that I did was ensure that my daughter's education would be financed once she was ready to go to university. Having gone through the struggles myself, I ensured that a foundation was laid for her so that she wouldn't have to go through that kind of struggle. I'm ruthless when it comes to delivering results, and I accept basically no excuse. I believe if there's a way to get something done, we should find that way.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
So I have always wanted to have my own business. And so every job that I've had, so I have not started my businesses yet, per se, but every job that I've had, I have treated it as if it were my own business. So I'm passionate about the bottom line, about delivering value to the customers, delivering value to the owners of the business. I'm constantly measuring the success and looking at different success quotient and how I can change that and how I can optimize that and how I can exceed the value that I delivered the year before. So I am very competitive with myself and my own performance. I do a lot of self-examination, and once a year I put myself into a retreat mode, my mind, body and spirit I call it, And I re-examine myself, I re-examine my successes, I re-examine what I've delivered, and I look at where I can improve. So for me, it's a lifetime of continuous improvement. And I've tried over the years, more recently than before, to balance that with a deep connection and a deep spiritual connection with God. I think the biggest misconception that people have about me is that I'm tough and difficult to get along with. I'm ruthless when it comes to delivering results, and I accept basically no excuse. I believe if there's a way to get something done, we should find that way and get it done. So persons who work with me, whether it's a voluntary effort or an effort for pay, they know that about me, that if I say something is to be delivered and it can be delivered, it should be delivered. I'm very uncompromising when it comes to quality and excellence, because those are some of the hallmarks that I use as measurement. So, as I say, I'm ruthless when it comes to success and delivering results, because I think that if a way can be found, there should be no excuse. I don't make excuses, and I don't believe in making excuses. So I actually started a charitable organization that raised funds for the Cornwall Regional Hospital. We actually created visibility around the need for proper equipment for cancer care in Jamaica. And we were very instrumental in getting interest from not just in Jamaica, but within the diaspora to help, and the attention and support of the government, the National Health Fund, which eventually bought a linear accelerator for Cornwall Regional Hospital. We raised the first set of seed funding that could help the hospital in purchasing the linear accelerator. And we're continuing with that foundation towards cancer care. I've had many relatives, including my father, who have died from cancer. And I've seen the devastation that cancer can have on the family and on the patient themselves. Because the machines that we have in Jamaica up to date that treat patients for cancer are really very obsolete and outdated. And having learned that, I decided that was one of the projects that I would give my attention. And to date, we've managed to put together a group of persons who have helped, and we will continue to help to create visibility and to help persons who are unable to afford cancer care in Jamaica. Wealth to me is success in every aspect of your life. Your financial life, your personal life, your spiritual life. If you have the financial resources, that can help you to satisfy many of your needs, or all of your needs per se. But if you're able to satisfy your physical needs and your spiritual life is disoriented or disconnected, you won't have the kind of success that you desire. If your soul is not congruent with the rest of your life, to me that's not successful. So wealth is success in every aspect of your life, basically.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
The Digicel Foundation's Face of Change competition was launched earlier this year to highlight the work of community organizations across Jamaica. This week on Caring Hands, we introduce to you 3 of the competition's top 6 finalists. The 6th place finalist, the We Care to Share initiative, was born out of a desire to assist the residents of the Franklin Town community in Kingston, Jamaica.
The We Care to Share initiative is a friendship evangelism outreach that goes about like a charity group, that goes about meeting the needs of our community members socially, whether it's education or even just spiritually. We had a lot of elderly persons who really don't have anybody, right? We had earlier in, I think it was December and November, we had several fires in the community. And what we actually did, we actually pitched in and said, let's rally up some stuff. Let's get some grocery. Let's get 1 and 2 beds donated to us to assist those persons. And certainly December was a fantastic moment for the We Care to Share initiative. We went out secretly, nobody knew we were going out, right? And we got a list from the community members, like they referred the older persons to us. And we're talking about persons who can't see. We're talking about persons who can't walk. We're talking about persons who just got a recent stroke, and persons who young. I think I had a 36-year-old man who got a stroke early, and he really didn't have anybody to help. And you know, we actually went out there and just helped. So the Franklin Town Church of God is the We Care to Share initiative. We just actually mentioned as an outreach or a friendship evangelism outreach. Now the good thing is that our volunteers come from the church. We're not going out there saying, hallelujah, come on, come to God and do all of this. We're saying, let us help you. Let us be there for you. And I think it makes a much better impact. Persons don't feel like you're preaching down to them. They just feel like somebody really supporting them and somebody is there. Managing our resources is perfect. We have a financial aid person. We have someone that deals with the administration end of it. And then we have myself who handle the PR aspect of it and continue. I also have a project manager, Wayne Wesley, who assists as well. And I tell you, my pastor has been very supportive. You see, when you have the support from your church family, and then when you go out into the communities and you tell them, hey, we opened a resource center for your children, they say, what? It feels so good because you know that they are a part of it. And that's what you want. First, we started out just erecting a resource center here. That was in 2010. In 2016, we did a relaunch of the resource center and then introduced our social concerns of the community. At the resource center, we offer printing service. We have a computer lab. We have an outdoor study area as well as a little library. I'll go on with something. In addition, you get one-on-one assistance, and that's the best part. We have trained teachers who give up their time, come by the lab, and you kind of get some help with homework. When we first started the resource center in 2010, right, we got some computers. You remember them big back one day? Yeah. So those were what we had in our resource center. What we did in 2016 is a relaunch. We actually restored it, we removed those, we got more modern type computers now. And the good thing is that Digicel Foundation came on board. You see, we got we call it processor, a centralized processor. So now we have all the computers that are just attached to one unit thanks to Digicel Foundation, because trust me, we really needed it. So when the Digicel Foundation publicized the Face of Change competition, we thought, why not? I tell you, the workshop was a worthwhile experience for us because it actually helped us to come back to the drawing board. How are we going to plan for the year to assist our people that we want to assist, and who are we going to take on board? It also opened an opportunity for us to partner with other organizations who share the same mission, and that I believe was a plus to it. One of the things I like about the group that we're with, the We Care to Share initiative, is that we stand for 3 S's. We're soulful, we're sacrificial, and we're selfless. I have volunteers who come in and stay up all night just say, what are we going to do to help? And I like the fact that they're motivated by themselves to help. So we don't have to worry about volunteers one bit. Volunteers is here. But one of the challenges that we face sometimes is a timeline and the amount of persons that we would want to affect or impact. That can be a little bit challenging. Sometimes it's just too much and the resources are really not there. But the good thing is that we go out and we do that which we're called to do as Christians and as just human beings. We're here to look after our brother. We should be our brother's keeper, and I really believe in it. As the president, I really believe in it. And I try my very best at all time to ensure that everyone is on the same page. Many persons don't realize that our children are becoming fully affected either by home problem or school problem or just growing up. They're open to so much, and what's happening is that they have become withdrawn. I have 4-year-olds who are depressed, and I'm telling you, the other day he punched a wall and his hand got blistered, and when you have to look at that child and hold that child, it says a lot, right? And these are things we go out now and say, listen, let us encourage you. So what we did the other day for February 2017 is we went out into the neighboring schools and encouraged our Jesus students with a motivational tour. Boy, that was something. We went into schools where we didn't even know that they would have been so receptive. I had a child who walked over and said, boy, I'm gonna take my candle that Jesus up me, and as a guy, a little boy, and I was like, what happened? I can't do it, too much pressure, man, too much pressure. And it was remarkable just talking to him. We got calm. And we gave us some stickers that said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It was just an impact that we're looking at our children as just children, but then when we start going out and reaching them, we realize that they understand what they're called to be in today's society. We're true leaders.
The residents of the Franklintown community are absolutely grateful for the help. Just ask Colin George Cole, who has benefited from the work of the We Care to Share initiative.
For Christmas, oh my God, I get my basket and I get my bags and I get some books and pen and things like those stuff. It was great. I wasn't expecting anything in the Christmas. And Sister Georgie just come across doing a great work to go to the community. She make us feel so wonderful, and I very appreciate that.
The most rewarding thing about giving back is actually just the feeling that you get when you help somebody. I'm talking about not doing the most exuberant things, just the simple things. You making a difference, seeing that smile, seeing that impact, seeing that change is the most remarkable thing. One hand can't clap. We need to give back. We need to support each other because we're not just here for ourselves. The world tends to be going on a selfie vibe. You see, when persons realize how important togetherness and unity is, we'll understand the necessity of supporting each other on a journey. The impact is far more far-reached, but also you can see it, it's measurable. And you want a community, a Jamaica, a world at large that realizes that supporting, helping each other makes a superb difference, and the impact itself is much more valuable than anything else. We care to share. We care to share. We care to share. We care to share.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
Before being a part of the youth club, youth would be like, no, me not come at the station because me afraid of police or the police them not nice. But actually being a part of the club, they notice that the police are actually human beings.
Our women are the backbone of our society. They deserve to be protected and respected. Domestic violence is not okay. Speak up and speak out. No more violence against women.
We are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we knock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Over 40 years ago, the Jamaica Constabulary Force introduced police youth clubs across the island in an effort to provide positive guidance for the youth of Jamaica. As a result, the 5th place finalists in the Digicel Foundation's Face of Change competition, the Christiana Police Youth Club, was started in Christiana, Manchester.
Christiana Police Youth Club is geared towards building a better and safer and more friendly environment for the youth and citizens overall who live in and around Christiana area. The Police Youth Club was formed to get young people more actively engaged in police to citizen engagement. So the youth would be like a bridge to get people to see the human side of the police force. So we are in the CSSB part, that is the Community Safety and Security branch, where we are now doing community policing. So instead of sitting down at the station, the police will be in the community, actively engaging with people, with citizens, and so they can have a more holistic and sociable relationship. Christiana Police Youth Club has been around from about 2000. Yes, so it's 17 years. I've been a part of it for almost 11 years now.
The constitution of the club, a police officer has to be the leader. So a police officer is the leader, and separate and apart from that, other police officers get involved at various levels, whether it's in the fundraising activities, on the projects themselves, the work days, every aspect of it. The meetings, the weekly meetings are held right here at the station, and whoever is available at the time goes up and participates.
We do a monthly feeding project where we feed the homeless. We get donations from club members or business people in the community. We feed them. We are engaged in educational activities. Last year, December, we were the winner of the Manchester PYC debate competition. We are engaged in sporting activities like netball or football or so forth. And we are engaged in welfare. If we see a need to help somebody that is poorer than us or really poor, we will get donations and help them. Henceforth, that is how we came up with the idea of building a house for Miss Gurley.
Members of the Christiana Police Youth Club have reaped various benefits over the years. One such member is the club's current president, Roseanne Swaby.
So I joined the club in August 2014, and since then, 2015, I was the assistant secretary to Miss Shanika Davis, and 2016, I was the secretary, and since this year now, I've been the president. Since I've joined the youth club, personally I've become more responsible because I have roles I'm a play. Like being a secretary, I had to research what does being a secretary entail, so I learned a lot from being in that position.
Based on the projects that we have been doing, based on the outreach programs, based on our whole socialization with individuals, we have seen where young people have gotten jobs, schooling. They have changed their whole behavioral pattern. Seen when they come into the club and see the different environment, they are now eager to do something good, be a part of something good. So it has changed them in their behavior.
But from the inception of police youth clubs as a direct strategy to community outreach, it has reaped benefits untold. Because as I said before, many of our present police officers in high ranking also came from the police youth clubs. And plus, members of the youth club from the various communities will bring in new membership from the community. And even during their meetings and what is discussed and the interaction is brought back to the communities, so we know we get the impact there.
Through the Christiana Police Youth Club, many residents have since changed their opinions on the police.
First of all, we have a better relationship with the police officers, because before being a part of the youth club, youths would be like, no, me not come at the station because me afraid of police, or the police them not nice. But actually being a part of the club, they notice that the police are actually human beings and they're actually nice and they interact well with us and we learn from them and they come and they participate with us. So we have a better relationship with the police.
The relationship between the Christiana Police and the Christiana Police Youth Club is an inclusive one. It's like a relationship between a parent and a child. It is a relationship that involves partnership. Most of our outreach community programs, we integrate the Police Youth Club into it, because traditionally the Police Youth Club and the police, we get a lot of recruitment. A lot of the members of the Police Youth Club go on to become police officers. And it is a part of our community-based policing scheme and activities, because when we foster and mentor these young people, we get them into the right frame of mind, the right kind of thinking, the right kind of people to become good persons in the society.
In terms of membership, the membership fluctuates because members come and go depending on if they relocate or they go to school, or I don't know if they just lose interest, right? So we have members coming in and then some coming out. Some serve for a year, some have been here for over 5 years, and then some just go for a couple of months. So being committed is one of the major problems we have with the members of the club.
Even from a younger age, like 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds become involved. It helps because, you know, there are so many negatives out there in the society. Anything positive, the earlier it starts, the better. So just like how we're on a recruitment drive now for police officers, we could be on a recruitment drive also for police youth club members.
For Christiana, I would like to see the youth getting more involved in their communities. A lot of time when I'm coming home from work, I see them on the streets loitering. They could have used that time to do something constructive, like either coming to the club, helping out their community, or be doing their homework or something.
Giving back, first, it's a sense of fulfillment. And secondly, it's a way of building your own community. Because if you don't give back to your community, then nobody outside will come and give to that community. The community is for us, and we are the ones who is responsible to build that community. It gives us a sense of hope that further down, we'll have a better Jamaica, and young people do care, young people do want to make a change, and that will encourage us to continue, and we will always continue to be a face of change.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
I thought at first it was just a ruse to get some money, you know. Then I heard it was going to be, you want to feed some people homeless people he had seen on the street.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Finishing in 4th place in the Digicel Foundation's Face of Change competition, the Feeding of the 5,000 is an organization that was started in 2012 by a then 17-year-old Jordan Bennett. What started out as a small birthday project has since grown into something even greater.
Let me tell you, when you see young people want to do something like this, it is a wonderful thing. And when it's, especially when it's one of your children. I thought at first it was just a ruse to get some money, you know. No, don't buy me a present or keep in a party. Just give me the money. I want to do something special. Then I heard it was going to be, he wanted to feed some people homeless people he had seen on the street. Then I realized that I wasn't the only one who had he had approached, and he had like a budget. And all of the involvement, and people started to call me so that, you know, I hear they need a driver. And I realized it was something big.
I decided to do the feeding like a month before my birthday. So then instead of getting anything for my birthday, I just made them buy me chicken and all of that. So I did it actually the April in 2012. And having a conversation with my auntie, I was just saying, Melanie, I really want to give back. And we were talking about like the Bible and all of that, and that's how we came up with the name. So the first feeding I had on a white t-shirt, and I had a marker and I wrote feeding of 5,000. And I just had put a name to it, and then my brother, he came and he took some pictures. He's actually a professional photographer. So after taking the pictures, he said to me, why don't you just make a page for it on Facebook? And I said, okay. And I made a page, and the December, we did 1,000 of the same year. And then after that, it just blew up at NCU, because at that time I was at NCU in Mandeville. And it blew up. At least 40% of the students there were wearing the shirts, because I got some shirts printed, and with the logo, we got a logo, and I got some shirts printed, and I said like one for $500 at the time. Just a way to raise money for the project. And then the whole population, because then about 10 persons started wearing, and everybody wanted one. So then it blew up. And yeah, that's how it really started. It just started as a one project, and then it just blew up into something that I never imagined at all.
Actually heard about it from a classmate of mine, and then I realized it was in the area. And I just say, oh, bored one day, let me just go to one of them conferences. It wasn't me planning to be a part of this thing and everything, and everyone there was just so nice and welcoming, and that was about 3.5 years ago. And throughout that time, I've developed a love for the organization, and I love to see things flow and go well on the days, so I've gradually become more involved in the organization to the point where I'm his right hand. Our Christmas feeding is usually the biggest event we have for the year. We get the members from the Golden Age home in Vineyard Town here to come here, and we have them under a tent at the front of the studio, and they just get to, come out of their place for the day, and they get to dance with all of us, and we feed them, just make them feel good. So that's a part of the December feeding day, just making those members of the community feel nice.
Going out on the feedings was an eye-opening and life-changing experience for most of the volunteers.
We had a lot of uptown kids who, this was the first involvement or witnessing of people living a certain way in Jamaica. And they were so moved. Some started to cry, some was just, when you hand somebody to food to somebody who hasn't eaten for days, and that gratitude. And I remember one lady said, when we gave her some stuff, oh God, the children can have breakfast tomorrow. And that was so moving to me, because none of them had ever faced a situation where they didn't have breakfast the next day, because there was no food. And the reality had started to come in.
I feel like every time we have a feeding day or a grocery bag drive, and we go out there, it's like almost like a cleansing of yourself and your being when you see these people being grateful for what you're giving them. You kind of forget about all the little things that have been bothering you about your life and all of that. It's just, you just feel renewed at the end of the day when you go home after this event. You just feel like lighter with all the burdens, the little problems in your life that are, you know, different for other people. Something that we maybe hope to develop with this organization and what the government should do is to help them, not just, you know, you have different organizations like ourselves, not just feed them, but give them something to stand on, you know, maybe start some trade, some skills or something. And there's some of them on the road that really do have mental issues. They're not just homeless, but they have mental issues. So I think the government needs to step up in that case.
For anyone who has a desire to go into volunteerism, here's a bit of advice.
My advice is to start it, just start it. Don't even think you have to be feeding 5,000. When we mentioned feeding at 5,000, we just took it out of the Bible. It was just a number. I mean, none of us had any idea that it would go on to 10,000. None of us. But just start it and don't be afraid to dream, because it costs the same amount to dream a small dream as a big dream. Just dream. And try and translate your dream into paperwork, something that somebody can read. Form an organization. I mean, it's a good way to start your business. Start a little business and get a team, get a committed team involving both children and parents. In other words, have different age represented on your team, because with age comes experience and knowledge. And luckily for him, he has people who will, you know, help him with the organizational stuff and things.
He has teachers, persons who used to work in banks and stuff like that, and always just a person that many Jamaicans today, and just all around the world, are 1 or 2 paychecks away from being homeless. So you can't really think about, oh, they're homeless. Just walk past them. Even though it's kind of something that we used to know, because this homelessness is getting so popular in Jamaica. It is something that we used to seeing now, but that's something that I don't want my heart to get used to seeing. So, and that's why I really want to get some volunteers involved. And honestly, the volunteers get much more sometimes than persons who actually feed, because a lot of the volunteers who come with us end up going and starting their own foundation. Who I can't reach, they can. You know, and I always encourage them, because with charity, there's no competition. It's all about working together to do the greater good, which is to spread love in whichever form that is.
For anybody that would like to come out and volunteer, or any sponsors that would like to help us in our endeavor to feed more people, please contact us. We would love it so much, and we'd be so grateful, and you'll be helping our nation.
Join us next week for another episode of Caring Hands as we share with you the top 3 finalists in the Digicel Foundation's Face of Change competition.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.